Good morning. My name is Morgan Feaster. I've been coming to New Life for 7 months. And I would like to say thank you to Pastor Jason for giving us this opportunity to speak this morning. For me, since coming to New Life, I have learned how to communicate with others and better understand people. And with the memes you just saw, you may not have understood them like we do, but if you spent time with us, the youth, you would better understand these kinds of things that we like. Now, I know parents can be embarrassing. My mom's embarrassing. My mom dances around a shopping cart in public, which isn't always great, but you make it work. And while we're talking about being embarrassing or embarrassed, let's talk about the bathroom. Now, did your kids ever knock on the bathroom door and you got little to zero time in there alone? That is because we wanted to spend so much time with you. We couldn't get enough. And, you thought we were pretty cute too, so. But now, that's less cute. So there are other ways for us to spend time together, like maybe going to the movies. I know sometimes you like to be dropped off with your friends and do other things, but it's important to spend time with your parents. Now, you can do anything from the movies or going for a walk or going to grab coffee, but we should talk. Let's catch up. And being youth, I feel like we are talked to a lot instead of talking and having a conversation. I think that talking in a conversation is very important, and to talk about our day and how we're feeling and give you a better understanding of how we feel. Now, eating dinner at the table is a very simple way to give you the opportunity to have a conversation and communicate. Now, these are like very simple things, but they're things that we look forward to. See, in my family with our busy schedules, we don't always get a chance to sit around the table. So when we do, it's nice to have that time to talk and communicate. In Proverbs chapter 20, verse 12, it says, "God gave us ears to hear and eyes to see, and both are gifts from the Lord." The Bible is filled with scriptures saying how God is a great listener. And in the same way, we should be great listeners. And this is a great example of God calling us to spend time together. I'm handing it off to Andrew DeBone.
Can we just give her another round of applause? Thank you. So, my name is Andrew DeBone. I have been attending this church for about 5 years. Don't ask me how Pastor Patrick got me up here. He was like, "Hey, you want to speak?" And I just gave him a smile. I was like, "Yeah, I'd love to speak on Sunday." Let you know a little bit about me. When I put my mind towards something, I'm like, I gotta finish that. So it's my mom's birthday, and all the family's together. That's what you're Well, not today. It is a story. All right. We're all together as a family, and we're like, hey, let's go out to eat. So we're all at this restaurant. My cousin looks at me, and he's like, "Bitch, you can't eat the biggest burger." And I looked at him, and I was like, "You're on." So I'm getting this burger, and my dad looks at me, and he's like, "This isn't a good idea. I know what's going to happen." I'm like, "I got this, Dad, don't worry." I get this burger in front of me, and it's massive already. And my cousin's like, "I can make it bigger." So we're adding cheese curds and pickles. And I'm like, "Oh, okay, I guess I'll do it." And I eat the whole thing super fast. I was like, "I got you. Oh, I got you." And I'm like, "All right, I'm sick. I know I am." My dad, he looks at me. He gives me the look. I give him the look. And I'm like, "I got to go, Dad." He's like, I told you. So I'm in the bathroom just puking everywhere. It wasn't good. And so my dad's like, "You see, I told you." Romans 1:11 says, "I long to see you so that I may impart to you some spiritual gifts to make you strong." That's what parents should long for. I wasn't listening to my dad, but he's still trying to help me and give me wisdom not to do it. It may not seem like we're listening, but we are. And you just need to keep on pushing on. Like what Morgan was saying, it's these little things in life that's really going to matter. When you're sitting at a table and eating dinner with your family, it really connects you. Like growing up, we had some rough points, and we had to really connect together as a family because we had to pull through. We didn't have a ton of money. We were living in a small apartment. But those were the times that really mattered to us, was when we really pulled through. You can't buy your kids' trust. If all you ever do is connect with your kids when you're buying them something, when they do something good, or if they fail or mess up and you're gonna punish them, and that's the only time you interact with your kids when they grow up, and if they never talk to you about personal matters and they get into trouble and they have a shaky relationship with God and they don't have a lot of friends, they're not gonna be able to turn to anyone. Your parents should be the person that they can turn to. 2 Corinthians 12:9 says, "He said to me, my grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. Therefore, I will boast all the more gladly about my weakness, so that Christ may rest on me." When you're empowered by Jesus, it shines through other people. If your parents are empowered, it's going to impact you and it's going to help you be empowered. It doesn't have to be parents either. If you're a person and you're empowered with Jesus, the people who look up to you will also be empowered. My parents were definitely empowered with Jesus. And my grandma, she smoked for years. And I'd always ask my parents, why is she smoking? And they always say, you just got to pray for her. And you got to hope in God. And I prayed for 1 year, never stopped. Prayed for 2 years, still didn't stop. It wasn't 10 years later, she finally stopped. But every time I prayed, I was empowered by Jesus to pray for her, thanks to my parents. And she stopped. And now she's listening to the service now, and I'm so happy for that. So if you're empowered through Christ, other people are too. I'm going to pass it off to Izzy.
Hi, Miss Jen. Good morning. Can I just say those two did an amazing job. And thank you, Pastor Patrick, because really without you, we probably wouldn't be able to put this all together. My name's Izzy Van Brocklin. I've been going to New Life for about 1.5 years. Something that I learned from coming here was how to rebel against other people's expectations and rewrite the rules for yourself. My school science Olympiad team recently made it to states, and I'm on it, but first of all, our coach didn't expect us to go she didn't expect us to make it to states. And second of all, after we made it, she told us, I know you guys qualified and you're excited and everything, but we can't go because I don't really expect that you guys can figure out a way to fundraise some money in time. I don't think that we can do it. So me and a bunch of teenagers from the team, like maybe 15 other kids, we got together on a group chat, and in about 2 hours, we figured out a way to fundraise some money. And so we presented it to her. She's like, "Dudes, that's amazing. I never would have thought of that. I didn't expect you guys to think of that. You're awesome." Except for not quite like that, because she's like in her 40s, and I don't think she'd ever say that. I'm just saying. But, yeah. And the reason she didn't really expect us to go that far or to fundraise the money in time was because, in general, people tend to set the bar low for youth. And that's a problem, because if the bar is set low, youth are going to meet you at the low bar. They're not going to want to go above and beyond if they don't think, they're not going to want to go above and beyond if they don't think that adults think that they can. Y'all followed that. But when the bar gets raised, and even when the bar is low, youth are still human beings. So they're going to make mistakes, and they're going to disappoint their parents and their adult role models. And there's actually a book/movie where they talk about this, Diary of a Wimpy Kid. It's pretty popular with younger people, like 5th graders. It's popular when I was in 5th grade, and not about the rest of you. But So in this book, there are two friends, Greg and Rowley. So Greg goes to a theme park with Rowley and his parents. And Rowley's dad says, hey, you guys can go wherever you want, do whatever, just don't ride any scary rides and meet me back here in about an hour. So of course, being that they're kids, they obviously go on the scary ride and they come back late and Rowley's dad's like, dude, where were you guys? I was so worried because, you weren't here. You guys went on scary rides, didn't you? And they're like, well, yeah, we did. And he's like, Rowley, I'm so disappointed in you. And Greg's like, dude, he's not mad. Rowley's like, yeah, but he's disappointed, and that's worse. And if you weren't born in your 40s as a parent, you would get that. It's worse having your parents disappointed in you than it is having them mad at you. Like, anyone else? Just me? Okay. And I think the reason that the bar is set so low for youth is because we can be treated like kids, and that is honestly sometimes because we can act like little kids. We're moody, selfish, and irresponsible. Like my awesome Science Olympiad team that I was telling you about, most of them still watch SpongeBob and play Pokemon with like trading cards and on their DS because apparently a DS is still modern technology. I don't know. But since teenagers were little kids, their relationship with Christ has relied on other people's relationships with Christ, whether that was their parents or their adult role models, doesn't matter. And I'll put this in perspective for you. So, family reunions. I hate family reunions, but that's probably just because I have a large family. But reasons to look forward to, not really. Family reunions. Gallons of warm potato salad that nobody eats. Food that flies have been on for like 3 hours. And then my favorite part, not really. Oh my gosh, you're so big. I haven't seen you in forever. Gives you a bear hug. You. Who are you? Oh, don't worry, I'm just your fourth cousin twice removed's best friend. You're not even a family member. Why are you at the family reunion? No, it's chill, I just told you. I'm here because fourth cousin twice removed's best friend. Keep up. That's when you're having a relationship with Christ through someone else, it's like Christ is your fourth cousin twice removed's best friend. That's not a personal relationship, if that even is a relationship, that's distant. A personal relationship is your own best friend, that's a close, intimate relationship. And that's what having your own relationship with Christ is like. This fourth cousin twice removed's best friend, not a close relationship. Your own best friend, one of the closest bonds you can have. And also, it's time for youth to start setting a better example for adults. And just so you know, I was really nervous, missed this point in the first service, had to come back to it. It's awful. But it's time for youth to start setting a better example for adults. Adults set a good example for youth, but I'm flipping it because I'm rebelling against low societal expectations. And sometimes youth are good role models for adults, but people don't really notice because of the low expectations for youth, because the bar is set so low. And sometimes they never even get the chance to be good role models because no one even notices, no one wants to notice, no one cares because the expectations are so low. And sometimes youth don't even think that they can be good role models because the expectations are so low. And after a while, if everyone believes it, the youth start believing it too, which is a problem. And as role models, we're gonna fail. You guys are parents, so you probably know that. Just kidding. But when we do fail, we're gonna need your support. Proverbs 16:24 says, "Kind words are like honey, sweet to the soul and healthy for the body." I hate growing up, but when I was, I'm going to high school next year. I feel like I'm on a cliff lined with butter, and they're just like, "Here you go, there's high school." But when I was little, I wanted to be a princess when I grew up. Had dressed up like princesses, watched princess movies, went to Disney World, met all the Disney princesses. It was awesome when I was a little kid, highlight of my life in second grade. But after a while, I started growing up. I started seeing the world more. I started going to school, and the exams got harder. I got standardized testing. There was more stress. Grades started to matter. I got friends and bullies, and everyone was pulling me in a different direction. The church in one direction, my parents in another, school in another, my friends in another, the world in another, and it was getting chaotic. You know how when kids are playing human tug of war? That's what it kind of feels like. We're like, whoa, dude, stop. Yeah. And so I started having more emotions. And parents at this point start having a hard time keeping up with their kids' emotions. And to be honest, sometimes kids have a hard time keeping up with their emotions. And like, God really is the only one who can keep up with everything that's going on inside of our brains. But parents still need to be there as a role model and a guiding force to like lead us to Jesus. Be like, yeah. So just to reinforce Proverbs 16:24. Kind words are like honey, sweet to the soul and healthy for the body. Handing off to Pastor Patrick.
Wasn't that incredible? Seriously. Every single part. If you saw the youth on the road holding up signs, who saw that? Was that unexpected but cool? Very cool. They made those signs. We had youth greeting. We had youth running sound and PowerPoint, and we had youth on the stage, and we had youth speaking. Every single person had a part. It was incredible. And let me tell you that for the three of them that spoke, this is their first time speaking in front of a crowd. I don't know about you. My first time speaking in front of a crowd was, I think, middle school, when I spoke in front of my classroom of like 18 people. I could not have stood up at church and spoke in front of all you people, because you guys are terrifying. I don't know if you know that. I told them, if you get scared, just make fun of yourself, because that's the best way to do it. And just to set your mind at ease, this message was for imperfect parents. So if you're not imperfect, if you're perfect, don't worry about it. Just let it slide. Tell someone else who you know is imperfect and give them some pointers. No. Jennifer's clapping. Jennifer's like, yeah, I'll tell someone else. Some things I want to end with, and I don't want to reiterate. They did an amazing job. I don't want to take away from what they did. Youth are not just youth. Let me tell you that. When you look at somebody, when you look at the youth, you don't think, let the crazy youth pastor take care of them, or let the crazy leaders take care of them. And the youth pastor just destroyed my kid's shirt with chocolate, so let him take care of it. The youth are not just future leaders. We don't just put them on the back burner because we have bigger fish to fry. The youth are leaders now, today, this morning. That's who they are. We're not training them up to be leaders in the future. We're training them up to be leaders right now. We're bringing them to the point where God has expectation of them. God has a purpose and a plan, and we talk about this a lot at youth. They have a purpose and a plan and a passion, and follow that. Whatever it is, if it's designer jeans, if your passion is designer jeans, start right now. God has a passion for you, and he's given you a passion. And that's what we consistently tell the youth, is that you were born for a reason. Follow that reason, and we're starting today. We don't accept low expectations. How many of us can honestly say that we interact with hundreds of people from all different backgrounds and all different beliefs, like the youth do every day at school? They are literally on the line of a war between culture and their faith. They are bombarded every day about the school's expectation of what they should accept. So if we don't start now, if we don't lay that foundation now, then when they come into school, they're going to be bombarded with things, and they're going to have to think of an answer at that point. When they don't know the answer, they're going to follow the crowd. But if you start now, if your expectation of your student, your kid, your teenager, right now, if you set a foundation of Christ right now, then when they face those difficult decisions, whether it's tomorrow or 5 years from now, they're going to know the answer before the situation comes up. Because we have set an example in their hearts. And one thing I loved is when Izzy talked about it, help me rebel against society's expectations of me. Because society expects them to go along with the crowd. And it's going to get more and more difficult, I promise you, for them. So we need to cover them in prayer, and we need to give them their own relationship with Jesus. It's important to connect with them. It's important to communicate with them. Those little things, those times where you speak in their lives, those times where you sit down at the dinner and have a conversation. Don't talk at them, talk with them. We have a crazy 7-year-old at our house that drives me bonkers. She's just nonstop, all day long. She does cartwheels all day long. And we have to watch every single cartwheel. And a lot of times we get short with her and we just talk at her rather than talk with her. I need to get better at that. We need to talk with our kids because there's so much there. As you've seen, there's so much more on the inside. So connect with them, talk with them, help them rebel against society's expectations. And if you're sitting here today and you feel like, man, that's not me. I haven't connected. I don't have a good relationship with my kid. If you're sitting here and you're waiting for a sign for God to say, get together with them, this is it. This is God telling you this is your opportunity to restore that relationship. Because they need you. They need you. This is your responsibility. There's always a call to action at the end of a service. Be there for your kids. Love on them. Talk with them. Connect with them. They've got crazy stories that you'll never believe. And they'll tell you at 3 a.m. at a winter retreat. When all you want to do is sleep. Anyway, so let's close our eyes. We're going to speak with God. Jesus, we thank you for this service. We thank you for your truth that you've empowered young adults to dig into you, Father. They see you in a way that we could never imagine. They still stand in awe of you. They still get impressed, Father God. How often do we feel impressed, Lord? I pray that you bring us back to that childlike state. You help us rebel. You help us connect with our kids. Father God, we thank you for your love for us, Lord. You sent your Son so that we could have a relationship with you, but we need to do the same with our kids, Lord. We need to send them out into the world armed with a foundation of Jesus. If that's you today, I want to encourage you, it's not too late. It's not too late to connect with your kids, to reach out to them and say, I love you and I'm on your side. Lord, we thank you for what you've done in this service. It's incredible, but it's not the end. It's just the beginning. I ask these things in Jesus' name. Amen. Thank you guys for having us. Thank you, Pastor Jason.